Hey everybody, I'm Zoe.
And I'm Chandi.
And this is Bound by the Cloak. Imagine waking up in the dead of night. Your body frozen, your chest heavy, as if a weight is pressing down on you. It's 2:17 a.m., the dead of night. Looking towards the far left corner of your room, you see black shadows moving through the darkness. Their eyes are glowing red. They move towards you, but you can't move at all. You can't move, and you try to scream. You try all that you can to get someone's attention, but you can't. Your body is frozen, paralyzed in a way. Paralyzed not from the fear, but from being trapped in a chilling state between sleep and wakefulness. This is not a nightmare. It's something quite different.
Welcome to the terrifying world of sleep paralysis, a phenomenon that leaves you awake, unable to move, and often caught in the clutches of haunting visions. Is it merely a quirk of brain chemistry, or does it open a door to something deeper? Many have been haunted by their experiences, including Ranita Roy, an award-winning visual storyteller whose work captures the intersection of reality and imagination. In addition to Ranita's insights, we share other stories from individuals who have experienced sleep paralysis. Each person's stories are quite different. Let's get a glimpse into what's real and what lurks in the shadows of our minds.
Hey Ranita, how's it going? How are you?
Everything is fine, and yeah.
Good, welcome to the podcast.
Can you tell us about your background? Can you tell us who you are and just a little bit about yourself?
I'm Ranita Roy from Andul, India. So Andul is a small town, but right now I'm living in Uttarakhand, and I'm a photographer and filmmaker.
Ranita, can you tell us how your sleep paralysis experiences inspired your work?
So this incident happened while I was in college for the first time. And first I thought it was just a bad dream, but again and again, daily basis, it started happening. And I asked my friends and family members, my mom, this kind of thing is happening, that I cannot speak, the bad dream that I was thinking, and I cannot move. But they told me that it's just a bad dream, and maybe you are just watching too much of horror films or stuff. But it becomes more intense for me like in 2016, and I faced some really difficult times during those episodes, like where after the sleep paralysis I cannot do anything during the daytime. Like I was weak, like I was not really focused on my work, and then I was trying to look for the answers, and one documentary from National Geography kind of popped up in YouTube, and I saw that this incident what was happening with me, it calls sleep paralysis. Then I started my research, and from that moment I started also sketching my all the dreams, what I was going through, all the fears, and how I was feeling during the day. Yeah, this is how it all started. And from 2018 I started to reflecting all those dream and those hallucination. on a photograph. Like I was recreating those moments, those fear through photographs. Because when I was in college, like I was like thinking too much about all those, things are happening in my life. I was thinking like, oh, everything is bad, and it's only happening with me. So I was in lots of stress. Later in my life, I also find out that this is a main cause of like sleep paralysis, and also the lifestyle I was in, because I couldn't sleep during the night. I was always like reading or painting because I was so afraid during the night. If I sleep, then this incident will happen again and nobody will believe me. So yeah, I think this is a kind of a thing that people also hide from other people, that they think that people will think that they are crazy or this is just a bad dream. And people who are going through all of these things, it's really serious because it's affect your health and daily life.
I don't know if you could tell us kind of in more detail what your sleep paralysis experiences were actually like.
So when it started happening, it was not too much. It was more like a few seconds. I was feeling like I cannot breathe and something, pressing my chest, and I cannot move. But day by day, it started kind of increasing. Those fear and hallucination. I started feeling that there is someone in my room. And after the incident happened, when I opened my eyes, like there was no one in my room. So, and it was so real when I was going through this episode. One incident I can tell you was really horrifying, one or two. The first one was I was feeling that someone is assaulting me during the episode, and I cannot do anything. And when I opened my eyes, same, like there was no one in my room. And I tried to run away from the room, and I told my mom, and she told me, just you can sleep by my side, and don't go to your bedroom. But that was not a solution. Again, it's happened in 2018 when I felt like out of body experience, that I could see myself that I'm sleeping and I cannot move, and I'm watching myself from the top. Yeah, I mean, it was really crazy. When I told my friends and family members, they were like, don't, same, like, don't watch those horrible movies and stuff. Maybe you are thinking too much. Try to rest and don't think about this event. But I tried, but I was unable to sleep for weeks.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm 24 years old, and I think my first sleep paralysis experience started in when I was a freshman in high school. And then there would be periods of time where it would happen like every night in a row. And then it also, like, at my first time, it started out as like the typical, like, oh my gosh, I saw a shadow in my room and it was really scary. But then it slowly, I guess as I got older, it turned into people I knew. So it was kind of like a hallucination. I think the scariest was when it was like a week. I just got it every night. The first one was I was sleeping and I woke up, or I thought I woke up. And like from across the room, I saw my dad like half the face in the doorway, and it like went like that. And I was like, Daddy? And I like leaned closer, and he like ran at me, and I could feel it like that. And then I shot up.
Hello, everyone. My name is John. I am a American Colombian living in the United States all my life. I'll begin with really how it really happened with sleep paralysis. It was when I was actually younger. The first time I was 14, the second I was around 17 and 18. And it seems to happen every time after a long physical feat. In this instance, it was a long week of pretty much Boy Scouts, and like an extreme version where it was like we're hiking, we're doing jamboree, we're doing 12-mile hikes. We're like, it was just exhausting. And when I finally came home from all this, took a nap, and when I woke up, only my eyes opened. I could feel my body and everything, but I could not move anything. I couldn't And the first thing was just panic, shock. I was trying to move my toes. I could remember laying down on the right side of the bed. I was facing the wall, or at least my face was facing towards the wall. I could feel my eyes just going all around and everything. And I'm just like, at one point, I'm like yelling, like, what the heck is going on? Panic, full panic mode. I think like about maybe 15 seconds later, 20 seconds later, I start to almost come back to life. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, arms out, going crazy. And I'm like, what the heck was that? And I was afraid to look it up. I was afraid to actually tell anybody, thinking that I had a problem or something. But it was, put it simply, that was just my experience. That was the first one.
It seems like you're one of the few, or like the minority of people who have sleep paralysis that it happened regularly, because some people have it maybe a few times in their life and that's it. But you had it regularly for a certain time. So, how often was it happening and how did that affect your daily life?
I think in 2017 to 18, it was happening almost every day. Very often. I was skipping my sleep during night time. I was really, really afraid. If it's, let's say, 12 a.m., I was like, I will not sleep. So I was like waiting for 4 a.m. so that, I can sleep. Every day I was feeling like I don't have energy to do my daily life work, and I was not able to focus on my education also in that time. So yeah, it's really affect. And also when people when they don't believe you, it's really difficult. It's more like you want to express but you cannot, so you are holding all of your emotion and everything to yourself, and it's also really suffocating.
And so no other relatives of yours have had sleep paralysis, just you?
My grandma, she explained that it's a kind of cultural thing that in Bengali culture, people call it Bobai Dhara. It means some kind of ghost kind of chasing you, and during the night it comes to you and it gives you trouble. But I knew that it's not really like that. And when I did my research, then it's kind of, then I started understanding, okay, this is why it's happening. Then I kind of started noticing my lifestyle and the problems I had. And so when I started photographing these events, I was kind of reflecting and recreating all those moments and fear through my photographs. Day by day, I saw that it's kind of decreasing. Those episodes, like it's not really happening, and I was little curious, like why it's not happening. So I was also like, I wanted that feeling. I don't know, it maybe sounds crazy, but because I was like doing the photo story, I was like, okay, I'm losing the content, or I'm losing the feeling. So I'm like, why is not happening? But it was not in my control. So I used to kind of see all my sketches in my sketchbook, and I was recreating photograph. And in 2019, I applied for New York Times portfolio review with that photo story, and I was thinking, okay, oh, whoever will see this story, they will think that I'm crazy. But I applied, and surprisingly, I got accepted. And I went to New York and I saw this a story to different editors, and finally it got published in New York Times. So after that, I think I was also surprised that so many people, they started emailing me. They were sending me message, and they were replying to that story that, okay, we also have this condition, and they were sharing their story. So that time I really realized that, okay, this is not only me, this is also other people. They are also having this same condition. I think that also helped me to understand my situation and the reality of sleep paralysis.
So you were like, okay, I need to find a way to channel this and cope with this. You know, you did that through your art, and you're like, oh my God, I need more inspiration. That's funny. You know, what caused you to even do the art in the first place? And then you're like, oh my God, I'm losing inspiration and content. So, you know, some of the best works of art come from the craziest experiences.
Yeah, it's really crazy, I know. But also, it's really helped me to connect with different people. So I also ask people to draw or whatever they faced in their, sleep paralysis event, and they sometimes write their whole story. So I have those letters and, their drawings. So it's really kind of motivating. And after the story got published, it's really helped me to look beyond the photo story. Like it's more like collectively we can share our story and we can share what is going on in our life, because many people, they told me that their relative or their friends, they didn't believe them, and after the photo story published, they show it to their friends and relatives, and they are discussing. At least people, maybe they cannot really realize or understand, but at least it kind of a conversation we can have.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, by say like, oh, I've had sleep paralysis, they don't even know what I'm talking about because they themselves have never actually experienced it. I've only had it twice, and I say my experiences aren't even as bad as some of the ones that I've heard. Some people have seen all kinds of like shadow people and creatures and all kinds of things just kind of, coming towards them when they're asleep. And I know you've reached out to professionals and doctors that are in the field that study sleep paralysis, right?
After the story got published, Dr. Balan Jalal, who is researching on this topic, he actually emailed me that he is researching on this topic, and he sent me his research paper. So he also kind of explained why it's happening, and he also have the same kind of condition, and so that kind of also gave me a kind of different way to look into this event. And after that, I became more serious and I started my research more seriously.
My name's Kira. I work in the education system and I'm 22 years old, and I've had sleep paralysis for a good 10 years of my life, but it's not super consistent. So it's not like a really big thing I have to deal with. Mine always comes from nightmares. So I only ever get sleep paralysis after a nightmare, and for me it's like it's only when I'm waking up from that nightmare, and I'm one of the lucky few bunch of sleep people who have sleep paralysis that also have hallucinations when I in an episode. And so it's almost always the same nightmare, and that's how I know like the sleep paralysis is gonna happen. And so it's like always it's that dark figure. For me, they're coming to choke me and like kill me, and so like that is like my nightmare for some reason. And then I'll wake up and then I'm paralyzed and I can't move, and then it's like that hallucination of that dark figure from my dream just will continue to come. But I also get clusters of it, so I will once I'm fully awake, I will like try and stay up, because if I go right back to sleep, I'm gonna have the same nightmare. The paralysis is gonna continue, and it's gonna be this huge cycle. But usually that happens anyway, so I'll have to try and keep myself up for like an hour to like just stay awake, and that can sometimes help with like making the episodes like not happen again, like going back into it. But usually I get a good chunk clusters of sleep paralysis like maybe once a year, and it's like maybe for a couple weeks at a time, and it's like all throughout the night, but then I'm like fine in the next couple weeks.
I had it, I'm pretty sure it was stress related. It started probably about a year after the COVID lockdowns started. I probably had it maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30 times, I would guess, somewhere in that ballpark. My background is like the way I experience sleep and that kind of thing is through studies of Tibetan Buddhism. The kind of experience was very similar to a book I read. I think it's called the Tibetan Book of the Dead or something like that. It's like when you die, you're in this void. There's like no movement, no sound. So when it happened, I thought that I was kind of hallucinating, maybe that, my experience with that subject was maybe taking over my brain, some kind of dream or something. But then, like, talking to people, they were like, no, that was probably sleep paralysis is what was happening. So, yeah, it was just like as close to being dead as I could imagine it would feel like, or maybe being comatose or something like that. Yeah, it was always like I was in some kind of dream state, I think. Like, I don't really remember that part of it. But then there would be like this moment where everything kind of stopped and I was aware of my own mind, like consciously, as opposed to like, when you wake up and you don't really remember anything. And there would be this span of time. I don't know. It never felt like more than maybe a minute or so. But a minute where you're like trapped in your body, can't open your eyes, like that's a long time. So it freaked me out. So, I mean, that's basically what happened.
How did you feel when you got the response that you did?
It was overwhelmed because I never thought that anyone will believe, because that was the thing when I shared to my close people, they never believed me. So I thought that people will think I'm crazy, or, she's just doing, whatever, but I was really overwhelmed, and I was reading all those messages, and I was really happy, and I was like, okay, it's not only me that I told you that so many people, even people who never experienced, they were also messaging me, okay, we want to know more what really happened. It's kind of we are trying to know each other's story and the reality, or if we don't have any idea about the sleep paralysis, we are actually trying to know. So I was really happy, and still I think I'm doing this story. It's an ongoing story, and whenever people sending me message or telling me their story is kind of adding something into my story, or it's not actually my story. It's kind of now is became a collective effort.
So, you're awake, you're fully awake. So, like, the scientific reasoning behind it is you're coming out of your REM cycle or you're going into it. So, sleep paralysis only happens like right before you fall asleep or right after. So, it's in that REM cycle. So, your body actually like relaxes your muscles, because when you're dreaming, your body doesn't want you to act out the dreams. And so it will like quote unquote paralyze you. So, you're not like, if you're grabbing a cup of water in your dreams, you're not going to like move your hand up and do that. So that's why sleep paralysis happens.
And you mentioned stress and traumatic events that can kind of fuel sleep paralysis. You're still doing kind of your own ongoing research. I guess in your own words, what causes and fuels sleep paralysis? And how do you end it if you can? Does it end?
I can tell you my experience that I was like really in a bad situation when I was in college. I was going through breakup. So that was the thing. Like, I was not really having proper food, or I was skipping my meals, and I was skipping my sleeps, and my lifestyle was totally really in a bad shape. So I think that was one of the big reason. And when 2 3 incident happened again and again, and then I became more cautious that okay, thing is happening, and I was really afraid. So because I was thinking about this all the time, it was happening more and more. That's what I think. Right now, because I know why it's happened and how it's happened, now it's kind of I can control, or people can control when they know the science behind the sleep paralysis. So it's became more easy, because if people tell you that it's ghost or it's something else, obviously you will be afraid. because it's kind of unknown. But when you know actual thing, then okay, you know that how to control. You kind of change your lifestyle. You can change your sleeping patterns. So for me, like if I, let's say I skip my sleep, I know I am really stressed. I know that it can happen. Even whenever I'm doing this story, I know it can happen. So that time I became like more cautious, and I tried to maintain my lifestyle in a healthy way. So yeah, this is, I can tell you that for me is more fruitful, like the way I'm handling right now.
I think mine comes in lumps or like when I'm really stressed out, but I don't know why. But my parents' couch, whenever I take a nap, I don't know if it's the cushion, but I always get mild sleep paralysis and it's just like auditory hallucinations where I think I'm up. I don't know, I can never describe it, but when I go to sleep, I can tell when I'm going to get it. It's just the way that I go to sleep. You're falling slowly and it feel like it's gonna be hazy and then no, it's not gonna happen. I go to sleep with that feeling, I get sleep paralysis. So like my body can tell. I dream every night. Like I'm a really vivid dreamer. I'm able to lucid dream. So I'm like I'm awake and then I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, guess what happened? Like sleep paralysis. Ha. Then we all talk about it. But other than that, I feel like okay, it's a nightmare, it's a sleep paralysis. Wake up, go about my day.
For me right now, it's like once a year, and it's multiple times throughout the night. But then it's like for like maybe a couple weeks, but not every night. I had to stop doing this because I think this is why I started having more episodes. Is I would listen to true crime at night. Then when I had an episode while the podcast was still going, I was like, I can't ever do that again. That was too scary. I think a lot of it has to do with like your mental health. I think it affects a lot of people. Like if you're really anxious, like an anxious person, I think like it's more like I'm an anxious person.
So I guess you'd say that there's no way of curing it, right? You can just kind of, once you're aware of what causes it for you, you can try and make changes within yourself to kind of prevent it.
Yeah, I really don't know if you can really totally cure it, but you can change your lifestyle and you can control it when you know why it's happening to you. Because different people, they have different experiences. The moment they find out, okay, this is the cause, they can control.
And how did your family, especially your mom, react once, you got the story out there, you got your artwork out there, and the response you were getting?
So my mom, she was just really happy that my story got published in New York Times. That was it. She was really happy, that's all. I mean, we had a conversation after that okay, see, I'm not crazy, it's not a ghost, or so many people they have this kind of experience. And she was like, okay, now I know. So it was also for her, it was a really new thing, and she was asking me some question, okay, then tell me like why it's happened and how it's happened and why, so I was kind of reading all those messages and I was telling my mom, see, look at this. And so many people, they also have the similar experience. So it became more normal. Even to my brother, he also had some 2-3 incident like same, and we share each other like experience. So in my home right now is really normal, and they never question after that. But for them, it was more like they're happy that this story got published.
They're happy, but they still think you're crazy.
No, maybe my brother, he thinks I'm crazy. It's okay. He always tell me like, why you are doing this story, if you know that it will happen to you again, because when I'm doing this story, I'm thinking about it too much. I'm writing, I'm doing the research. So I'm in that zone and I'm sketching. So I'm in that zone and I know that it can happen. So he's like, why you are doing?
Yeah, he's asking you almost in a way like, why are you doing this? Because you're triggering it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are triggering it?
Not really, because I know I have to do it. And also this story is really personal. It also kind of helping other people to see their own situation. And I'm also connecting to other people and getting to know their story. So it's important for me to go with this story and I don't want to stop it. If it's happen again, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not afraid anymore, so it's okay.
That's good. That's good that you're not afraid anymore.
I'm just telling you this. Maybe I'll be afraid. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know until it's actually happening, and then
Yeah.
because each time, I mean, I don't know, like my two experiences were different from each other. Like you said, yours kept getting worse and like longer, but yeah, each one could be different. Sometimes it might be the same thing over again. It really just depends on that particular instance. I know that you said you learned more about it like when you were watching, I think you said National Geographic, like a documentary. And the first documentary that I had ever seen was a movie that came out, I don't even remember what year, but it's called The Nightmare. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And I had Chandi watch that one, and she was a little...
That movie I saw, and it was exactly like that.
It's just weird to see, the reenactments of it and like how other people experience. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, it's hard to describe to people. I just tell them, well, watch that, and then I think you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, someone who hasn't experienced it, and like even your mom, Ranita, she, or I don't know if she's watched it, but it really does give, somebody who's never experienced somewhat the perspective that you're going through, because it's still, I know, not the exact same, but it's close enough. Yeah, it's also, there's like a supernatural element to it, which is interesting. And I think I was thinking, and I don't know if you can talk more about this, but about the folklore, and if you've looked into it, how other cultures talk about it.
So yeah, in different culture, they have different name of this ghost. So in Bengali culture, people say like Bobadhara, and in another culture, I think it's incubus or something like that. So there are like different names, and people think that it's a negative entity. It comes to you and it kind of eat your soul. Yeah, and there are also different side of it. People also think that like alien adoption, and they think, okay, alien, they're coming to you and they are kind of doing something to you. So yeah, it's different, like, and when you really go deep into this like research, and it's different path. There are scientific paths, like doctors or scientists, they are telling you something, and there are like some cultural events and something happen, and people sometimes in different culture, they do different rituals to the people, and it sometimes it's become really scary, because they really don't understand that it's a just a kind of condition, and it's because of the lifestyle and the stress and different stuff, but it can be very dangerous if you treat it really differently.
And you've heard from people all around the world, I assume, who've written to you and talked to you about their experiences. How do they compare to yours? Have you had anybody who had, like, I guess, like a similar cultural influence, or was it just vastly different? Because I know, like, you mentioned, like, incubo, which I didn't even think about that, which I've heard before, because it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a sleep demon. That's one that I've heard mentioned. And then, like, here in the U.S., a lot of times people will say, like, the Hat Man, or there's, like, a little old lady or something. Like, it depends on how it, I guess, manifests in your brain when you're actually sleeping.
Actually, one of the person I read the message, and he actually mentioned he was also a Bengali person, and the same Bobai Dhara, that ghost he mentioned, and he also had some crazy experience after the event. He was kind of seeing the same demon even the daytime, like he was kind of hallucinating. So I never had that experience. And also there was one of my African friend, I forgot the name of the demon, but they also have some cultural angle to this, and they do some worship to the god, so that it don't happen. So yeah.
I mean, I wonder if, like, daytime hallucination is from, like, the lack of sleep that you receive, possibly, too. That you see it, you wind up seeing it in the daytime, maybe.
That makes complete sense. It's like because you become delirious when you're sleep deprived.
Yeah, I was like skipping my sleep, and then in the daytime I was sleeping, and I was also afraid that it can also happen in daytime. And I think one or twice it's also happened during afternoon or something when I was sleeping. So I was really, really afraid. all my friends, whenever like I was telling them, okay, I'm going through this phase, and they were like, you are just thinking too much, don't think. And I really don't know how to not to think. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I don't really don't know my brain to think about this, because it was really so prominent when I was going through this. And it's really easy to tell people that don't think about it, just sleep. But it's really hard. It's really hard when you are going through this. If you are getting this episode only one time or two time, you can just, okay, it's just a bad dream. But if you are getting this like very often, it became very, very serious.
When's the last time you've had sleep paralysis?
I think 6 months or 7 months. When I actually came to Uttarakhand, and I think first or second day I had sleep paralysis. Like it was really, really bad. I was literally feeling that someone just laying on my bed just beside me, and I was really afraid to turn on the light, and I was really afraid.
Was it when you had moved to that place for the first time?
Yeah, yeah.
So you think it was related to stress? Because moving is stressful, right?
Yeah, maybe because that time I didn't wanted to move, because I had like lots of work, and I was in too much stress. And before I was living in Kolkata and Pune, like was moving, and then after Pune, when I came to Uttarakhand, it's like everything kind of change, your lifestyle, your surrounding, everything kind of change. You are in a new place, and everything is very new for me. And I was really stressed because where I'm living, there is also many leopard attack happen. So I was listening all those stories, and many stories about ghost and stuff from locals. So maybe because of that, because where right now I'm living, I cannot really go out after 8 p.m. or something. I mean, after sunset, it's really hard for me to go out because there are so many wild animals. So maybe because I was thinking too much about those.
Zoe, just for perspective, it's like it's like going from New York City to West Virginia. Like city, like one of the largest and most densely
That's a big
populated city, to like
difference.
wildlife.
When I was living in Kolkata, Pune, like life was totally different. I was working late night. I was, sometime I was out with my friend in late night. My lifestyle was totally different. But when I moved to Uttarakhand, I have to woke up really early so that I can do all the things before the sunset. And also, like, I can literally hear the leopard sound and the footsteps on my rooftop. It's almost every day. Now it became a habit. Like, I know that, yeah, it's there. And two times already I saw the leopard. So right now I'm okay with it. But when I moved to this place, I was really, really afraid.
Wow. Have they become your pets at this point?
You're like, oh, that's just a leopard
You're not-
out back.
yeah,
He's
you're not
fine.
scared?
He's-
I'm not really scared because right now I started also traveling after 8 also. But it's more like people believe. So I'm living in a really small village, and people believe that they don't really do anything to humans. They normally attack dogs or domestic animals. We are kind of trying to respect them because they don't, they don't roaming around during the daytime here and there. I try to keep in that way, like, okay, I have to wake up really early, do all my things, and after the dark in my home so that they can roam around freely. So it's more like understanding, and it became more respectful in that way.
That's different.
Different lifestyle that right now I'm in. And it's really peaceful, but also really dangerous.
It seems like you like that. So.
Yeah, I'm loving that. But trust me, like never had that feeling that I have to always I love to travel. But right now where I'm living, if I have to go somewhere, I think too much. I'm like, oh God, I have to go. Like I really love this place and the people and everything, the nature and also the leopard.
Yeah, I feel like city living can, like going from that to something else's. So I'm glad you found something that's very peaceful for you. In terms of like your artwork and how you were able to kind of use that to channel your experiences, what was the process like, and when did you decide that you need to document this, and how did you even decide what sort of art that you wanted to use in your art?
So, for this story, actually, back then I was only a photographer. I was not doing anything else. Like, I was only focused in photography. So, that was only one medium that I could do, like, I could pursue. And so, first, I started sketching all my dreams and all those fear and all those hallucinating moments. And then I started kind of recreating. And when I was recreating, I was thinking what actually I saw or what actually I feel. So my brother helped me to recreate some of the photograph I did by myself. Like I was acting in that way and I was capturing, like I was taking self portraits and many metaphoric images where you can sense the fear. So that was mainly my focus. But when I started filming, I was also thinking I can make a something in something in videography or something. But still, I don't think that I will do. But in future, what I really want to do that combine all these photographs and the write up from all those people and the drawings and also the research from the scientists in a one book that I really want to do. But for that, I don't know how much time it will take. And right now, after I moved to Uttarakhand, I also started different printing techniques like cyanotype and different techniques with the sunlight you can do. So this is more like right now I'm doing photography and cyanotypes all the day.
That's awesome. I always like printmaking and things in different types of media, so that's really cool. And yeah, if you ever get to finish or work on that book, I will be the first one to buy it. We'll both buy it. I think it's a book that people would really appreciate because it gets to kind of showcase art and real information about sleep paralysis. That could be really useful and helpful to a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, even as someone who hasn't experienced sleep paralysis, when you think about it, sleep affects everybody. So it doesn't matter if you've had sleep paralysis or not. But everybody's had some form of issue that's affected their sleep, and it comes out in different ways. So just kind of understanding the deep-seated source.
Not everybody has sleep paralysis, but like my mother would have night terrors, which I guess in a way are similar but also different because her terrors would generally be that somebody is attacking her, but other people that she knows in reality would also be present and it would involve them as well. And it would be really audible. So like in sleep paralysis, you're trying to scream or you're trying to move and you kind of can't, right? Because your body is supposed to be paralyzed when you're asleep. But for the night terrors that my mother would have, it was very audible. She was screaming, she was talking, you can hear everything. And it'd be really disturbing and creepy at times. I think, Shandi, I've told you like some of the things that she would say in her sleep. And then sometimes it would get physical. So it wasn't necessarily like, like she wasn't paralyzed, which is different. So I guess maybe it happens in like a different stage of sleep or something. But yeah, I mean, it'd also be really violent dreams that she would have. Actually, each one would be violent. None of them were great, like at all. And some people have just different types of parasomnias that they experience. And it's for different reasons. I think most of the time it's probably due to stress, but everybody is different.
Even my mom also, she had this kind of bad dreams and she was like screaming one night and I was really afraid, like what really happened. And she was like, okay, someone was just chasing me and he was just wanted to kill me. And she was so afraid to sleep after that. So yeah, there are like different events people go through during their lifetime, and it's quite interesting and also like how your brain really works while you are awake and while you are sleeping, because during sleep paralysis is happen because you're normally when we sleep our mind switched off our ability to move, and during sleep paralysis what happened, like your brain is awake, but your body don't. So this kind of mismatch happen, and that's why you are kind of thinking so many things, or you are hallucinating, but you are unable to move, or you are unable to react. Like physically you cannot run away or do anything, so you are stuck, so you feel more helpless. Also I think because I do meditation and yoga like daily, so it's kind of helped me before so right now before sleep I do a little bit of meditation, and it's really helped me to clean all those whatever I go through all the during the day, and calm my mind. It's I think you kind of have to look for the solution for yourself. I really don't think that someone else can help you totally. So you need to help yourself.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I can see meditation being something that would be beneficial. But yeah, I think the idea that you need to help yourself and find whatever works for you to help yourself get better sleep and lessen stress and have a better overall experience with sleep.
I mean, many times, like people thinks normally young people, when I was young, when I was in college, like, okay, I don't want to sleep too much, I was on my phone, I was watching films, and I was thinking like sleeping is just waste of time, or maybe, I have to do something. But right now I really started understanding sleep is really important, because if you are not getting good sleep, you cannot function the whole day. Like you'll be stuck. Your mind will be like totally blurry. So it's really important, yeah.
So I don't sleep as much as I should, and I tend to like stay up really, really late watching movies or doing something because I want to hold off going to sleep as much as I possibly can. But yeah, I think on average I probably get maybe like 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night. Not that much. I should probably work on that. Especially as you get older, you probably need more sleep. I'm not young anymore. And Chanda, you just had a sleep study done.
Yeah, I got a sleep
yourself,
study
right?
done. I asked the doctor about sleep paralysis and like interesting things he's seen, and he's told me some interesting stuff. Like he saw somebody who had, I guess, a eating disorder that was during sleep, and she didn't realize like what was happening, and she would wake up and food all around her. She was
Okay.
eating in her sleep.
So she had like the sleep eating parasomnia kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like different from paralysis, but yeah, like she's getting up. And she didn't remember anything.
No, but she knows that she was eating in her sleep because she would wake up and she has food all around her, and she's like, how do I stop this? Because I don't want to get fat. And she was gaining a lot of weight, because especially when you eat also like at weird times, it affects your body in a different way. You can try exercise and whatever, but it's going to be harder. Yeah, Zoe's on the lower end of sleep and I'm on the higher end. I get like 10 hours.
That's a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
For me, the sleeping pattern is totally changed. Right now, I am more early, I'm sleeping and I'm waking up really, really early, like because of my dog. But it's a good habit, I guess.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I think anybody that has a dog winds up waking up super early because they bother you because they have to go to the bathroom or whatever and need to eat.
But I feel like it kind of also helping me, because before I was like sleeping really late night, and I was used to woke up like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And right now I feel that I was losing too many things, because when I right now I'm working really early morning, I'm seeing the sunrise and really lovely a landscape every day, and I'm starting my day early, so it's also my I'm doing all the work, and it's all done even in a half of the day. I'm not stressed during like evening time. I'm more free and I can do whatever I want. But before I was sleeping and I was like, okay, I have to do this and I have to do that. And it was disaster.
Yeah, when you wake up early, you realize you can get so much more done.
Yeah, productive.
Yeah.
And also, I think when you are living in city is different than when you are living in a small village, because the lifestyle and the surroundings are different. Because when you are living in city, it's not only you, your friends, your neighbors, so many stuff. You have to do things for like like party and stuff, but in a small village you don't have to do anything. It's really peaceful, like people are doing their own thing. Yeah, I think it's really nice. And also like when you see the beautiful landscape every day and you are working, you are not stressed anymore. You don't feel like you are working in an office or you are, stuck somewhere. I don't feel like I have to travel to see some amazing landscape or something. It's everything what I am, like where I'm living. It's kind of, I'm not in that rush anymore and I'm happy where I am right now.
Your profession was shaped by your experiences. Do you ever wonder what you'd be doing right now if you hadn't had these experiences in life?
I started photography in 2015 because of, when I was going through that breakup and stuff, and I was really lost, and my lifestyle was totally really bad that time. And one day I thought like, okay, I just want to go out, and I didn't have any idea why I'm going out. So I picked up a small camera that my father had, and the whole day I was clicking picture on street. I had no food. I had no money, nothing. I
Oh,
was
wow.
really like small amount of pocket money that I had during those days. And I had no idea where I'm going. I was randomly taking different like buses and trains, and I was asking, okay, what is the last stop? That's how like the whole day I spent. Like I was just randomly going somewhere. I don't know. And after the after the sunset, I was small riverside, and I was thinking why I'm not feeling sad. And the answer was very clear that I was traveling the whole day and I was clicking pictures. So I had I was not thinking about those bad things that was really, like I was depressed for. And from that day I started photography daily, like morning and evening I used to go for photo walk, and I was clicking images, but it was more like single images. And I never thought that it will, become a professional thing, because I was doing my masters after that in environmental science, and I thought that I will be a teacher or something else. Not, I never thought that photography or filmmaking can be a profession, because I come from a very small town, and there is no other photographer or filmmaker like in my area. So I had no idea how to achieve this stuff. But yeah, slowly it's happened. And in 2018 I started this story. By that time, this is my third photo story that I was doing, but it was more personal. First photo story was on my grandma, and the second was on cyclone, but the third one, it happened really naturally. I was not really forcing. And I never thought that I will do a photo story or something. It was just kind of reflection of what I was going through. Because I thought that if I share this story, people will think I'm crazy. So I was really afraid to even share it to anyone. Because I just submitted to New York Times, because in my mind, I was very clear they will reject. That's why I submitted. But yeah, I mean, things happen, and then I started believing in my work more. Right now, also, I pursued like different personal story about different stuff, and yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's led you on like an interesting journey, just like you picking up a camera. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even my family, they never thought that I will be a photographer. They, when I told them that I want a camera, they were like, no, because maybe it's just a hobby for you. Because before that, also, I wanted to become a singer. I wanted to become a dancer. Like whatever I was seeing, like other people are doing, I wanted to become everything. So they thought that it's just maybe,
Like a
a phase.
phase and you'll grow out of it, or just something you'll kind of just do randomly
Yeah.
on the side. Yeah.
Even my neighbors, they told my parents that okay, it's more like the phase will pass on and she will forget whatever she's thinking. Just give her time and tell her to just continue her education. I mean, when I was pursuing my masters, I was doing photography, and I started earning from it. And the freedom of doing photography and traveling to different places is very addictive. And so yeah, I don't think I can do anything else. So yeah.
You found your calling. It's what you like to do, you love to do, and if you can make a living out of it, so that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story with us and your journey researching sleep paralysis. I think everybody's going to find it really fascinating. And hopefully more people share their stories with you.
Oh, thank you for this opportunity. It's always nice to at least talk about stuff. When you know that people, they at least they are listening to you, it's a nice feeling. Thank you.
Thanks, Ranita.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'd like to thank Ranita for sharing her insights and artistic perspective. We would also like to thank everyone who contributed and shared their sleep paralysis stories with us. We really appreciate it.
If you want to know more about Ranita's work, you can visit her website at ranitaroy.com. That's RANITAROY.com. We'll also have a link to it in the episode's show notes.
Hey guys, also be on the lookout for a very special mini-sode coming out very, very soon, which features a bunch of sleep paralysis stories that were sent in to us from listeners like you. So be on the lookout because that'll be out very, very soon on our feed. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bound by the Cloak. Follow us on social media. We're on X, we're on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods. If you like what you hear, let others know. Or let us know too. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand spanking new episode. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.